Okay, so recently we've been talking a lot about Filian. Now, again, we've been talking a lot about her hiatus and how long she's been away and some of the reactions to that, and also what her friends have been saying in terms of, what she's been saying to them and like, has she been messaging them or not. And it seems like she hasn't. But yeah, it's been a really, really big discussion, but also another big discussion that we've been talking about more recently, especially in the last video that we made, was on the VTuber Awards, which seems to have picked up a lot of traction since the video I made on it. And I think a lot of people have, noticed it through my video and have begun to discuss it, which I kind of wanted to go through today and talk about more information about the VTuber Awards and the website that recently went down. The website was removed. It seems like we're not going to be getting another VTuber Awards. Now, if you don't know, the VTuber Awards is, of course, an event that was run by Fillian, it was hosted by Fillian, and, it was pretty good. I think how many years did it run? Was it only 2 years? I think it was 2 years. Lots of people enjoyed it. It was cool. It brought a lot of VTubers together, and it was overall a positive event. But then it got announced that it was shut down after We Play Studios, a production company that worked on it, no longer wanted to work on it due to Filian's ties with Russian content creators, in quotation marks, right? Because, of course, she interacted with a couple of Russian people on stream one time, like a big deal. But essentially, they weren't happy with that, and the company was based not based in Ukraine, but they were founded in Ukraine or whatever. They have roots in Ukraine, and they were not happy. Which of course, I think it's very odd, because again, it wasn't like she was like outwardly supporting what Russia was doing or anything like that. She was just interacting with Russian people, and it wasn't even to an extent where it was like a common theme on the channel, right? It was literally just, a couple of interactions, and it ended up costing the entire show, right? And of course, a lot of people have been very unhappy about that, and because again, it was a very loved event. But essentially, as I said, since then, there's been nothing from the VTuber Awards accounts. There's been nothing from, Filian or whatever in terms of whether there's going to be another one with a new production company. And it seems like this kind of has sealed the deal, as when you go into the VTuber Awards website now, which wasn't the case about back in December. I actually checked my last video I made on the VTuber Awards. It was in end of December, so it's been about 4 months now. The website was still up. The website was still up then. But now it is not up. It seems like it's down, saying, 404 not found. It seems like the domain is still there, though. Someone still has the domain, whatever that may be. And of course, a lot of people have been talking about it ever since my video on it, right? Saying, in Fillian-related news, the website for the VTuber Awards has been shut down. And so I tried looking up who owns the domain, and it's registered to a redacted name in Iceland with a phone number that has been used for scams. So they might have gotten hacked, or someone stopped paying for the domain and scammers scooped it up. And that could be the case, right? And it seems like that might 100% be why this was it. They're saying, according to this service, the same number and anonymized data was used since the domain was first registered in 2023. So it's probably the standard phone number that the privacy service uses in the place of a real one. So again, I don't know, but it seems like to me that someone still has access to the domain. They still own the domain. It's just the website itself is no longer running. They've decided to remove the actual functionality of it. And it might be due to licensing, right? It might be like they might have signed like a 2-year license or whatever for the domain, and they just still have to run it through and just like have nothing up on the website, right? It doesn't mean like there's probably, I mean, it could mean something positive, maybe. Maybe they've taken it down because they want to rehaul it. And, like if you think of it on a positive kind of side of things, you could say that, maybe they are looking to kind of, revamp the website and, get it ready for the next VTuber Awards in 2026 or 2027 or whatever. But again, I just don't think that's the case. It seems like it is pretty well and truly done now. But, with Filian being away on hiatus, apparently a lot of good stuff planned, it doesn't really make sense for her just to kind of be like, ugh. I'm just going to forget about it and not do it again. She seems to be one of these people that, does try to do something fun and try to continue to do something fun if the audience likes it, right? So, again, I don't know. We'll see, right? But, of course, there's been a lot of comments as well saying it probably got taken down by her former production partners, the Ukrainians who parted ways after Fillian talked with a few Russian VTubers, or Fillian stopped paying the domain fees. saying, why would Filian pay the domain fee if the project is most likely paused or death, and Filian is still on her hiatus? That I'm having a stroke reading this. Please edit your reply. That's funny. In a cause of death or pause or dead. Spanish autocorrect screwed the sentence. Sounds like Filian burned another bridge by talking to people she really should not have. That's classic Filian. Which, again, I do think, you know, it's one of these cases of, I don't think it's necessarily someone that she shouldn't have, well, I mean, you know, it is someone that she shouldn't have talked to in the case of, yeah, you know, there was probably going to get this reaction from the company that is based in Ukraine, right? There's probably, you know, you're pretty stupid for kind of, you know, doing that. But at the same time, these VTubers weren't controversial. These VTubers aren't like, you know, the only controversial thing is the country they're from, which I think is kind of insane. You know, I know that obviously, you know, Russia is doing a lot of bad stuff, but I also think, like, at the same time, a lot of the people aren't to blame for it, and a lot of people are just like, oh, yeah, okay, like, go ahead, right? Because they don't want to, you know, get involved with it. They just want to live their life, right? And I feel like there's a big mix of people. Now, there was some kind of, you know, reports and things of them actually working within some government and military things, which, of course, you know, might change things. But as I said, you know, if it was just a base, just normal kind of, you know, Russian person, I don't think there's any problem with interacting with them. But sure, if you're interacting with like military people, whatever, that are actually genuinely involved in the war, then yeah, I can understand why that would be a little bit of a problem, right? So wow, she really is this VTuber Jake Paul. When I said to myself last week, I really didn't think it would be so soon or so literal. At best, she's actually just a natural smooth brain self. At worst, diet Jake Paul VTuber is still on my mind. The only difference is not intentionally malicious. She's literally just a dum-dum. I'll see y'all when VTuber fisticuffs become a real thing. Said, I see her more as a diet Kai Cenat, constantly collabing with people with no one, no care for their background or controversies, and constantly doing or saying dumb stuff. Which, yeah, I can see that. Say, what actually makes Fillian, what actually makes the Fillian thing super smooth brain is that she did that collab in the same week the Ukrainian government introduced a law making it legal to be in business with someone who does business with Russia. Which, again, I'm gonna be real. I don't think Fillian's looking that up. Right? I don't think Fillian's looking up Ukrainian laws that just came into effect. I'm gonna be completely real. Saying her Ukrainian business partners didn't even need to be part of her business that involved Russia or Russians to fall foul of the law. It's pretty much why they separated so quickly after the collab. I always called her the VTuber XQC, but Jake Paul really is more accurate, isn't it? That I've seen some wild clips, and I can only imagine how a tourist would view her before watching an actual stream. For example, there's a clip where she asked Shonda about cheating, and Shonda actually suggested domestic violence as a deterrent against further cheating. That type of clip is not Fillian's 24/7 content, but it's contributed to assumptions about her content, which I think, you know, that's, yeah, I think that's a fair enough kind of, what you call it, observation. Saying, I was curious and checked GoDaddy. The domain is still owned by someone, so I had a feeling there wouldn't be another VTuber Award show anytime soon. I really wish Fillian would have could have kept going with this yearly, as first time was really fun, even with the controversy, Mythos being best new org. Which, yeah, of course, I think it's one of these things where I think it was a cool event, right? It's such a shame that it did have to end in the way that it did. I really wish it can go on in the future because, you know, it's cool, right? And, you know, as I said, you know, people still own the domain, people still have access to it. So maybe there's a chance that it could get rehauled and there could be like a, you know, a resurrection of the VTuber Awards, right? But hey, we'll have to see. I think it would be cool, like, you know, to actually do it, because as much as, you know, people have been talking about Fillian in a negative way or whatever in the comment sections, it seems like everybody unanimously agrees that, hey, the VTuber Awards was actually a really good event, right? And it brought a lot of people together. But of course, yeah, it is pretty sad that it's now gone, you know, saying end of a good show, even with some awkwardness and flaws. It nicely highlighted a lot of VTubers who normally would not be considered for any type of award. Other similar award shows I've seen for all content creators or streamers on the platform, and they heavily favor flesh VTubers, but Fillian's hits the same notes with great production and for the VTubers. I hope she or someone revives the idea at such a scale someday. And yeah, that's true, right? Even if it's not Filian to be the one to do that, I do think someone should do it. I know a lot of people have tried to do it, but I think it needs to be someone on the kind of level of Filian, you know, the kind of, what do you call it? Like, Filian's a very popular VTuber, right? I think it needs to be someone like that, you know, someone who is at the top of VTubing, whoever, you know, you think it may be, right? Again, I don't know who, but just someone, just anyone. I want to see a kind of VTuber award thing going down. But yeah, I mean, again, we'll have to see. We'll have to, you know, see if anything else does get updated on this. But as I said, people were still reacting to the website being down, and that seems like the last update that we've really had, right? But yeah, that's what I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.